Hello, everybody. Well, at least hello to Conky Dong so far. How are you? I don't know if you heard, Tommy had a really bad migraine this morning when he did his morning message, and he wasn't doing any better a couple hours ago. So I told him I would jump in for a little bit. Um, I'm at work right now, so I can't be on for very long, but I can do a little bit. Anyway, I'm just going to wait a few minutes and see if anybody else turns up. But thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I've been gone for probably a month. I haven't done any videos. It was a rough holiday time, and after that it's been difficult, but oh well. I'm good. I'm getting better. Let's see. I did see the news this morning when he was. Wait, what? He was dressed like on the show. Okay. Hey, hey, Cindy and Miss V. How are you guys? Thanks for coming on over here. I know I'm nothing. I can't even compete with Tommy at all. I'm not even going to try. But as you guys can see, I'm in my scrubs and I'm working right now. I can be on for a little bit, but I've got to be out of here by 6:30 to take care of the rest of the things I need to do tonight, and then I can go home. Anyway, um, oh, there's Virginia. Hello, and Barela. Hey, how are you? Are any of you guys? I've been meaning to ask you guys. Is there anybody um, that lives in the Jacksonville, Florida area? My husband and I are going there. Let's see, we're leaving next week on Wednesday, and we'll be there until the following Monday. And if there's anybody, in the crew that lives out there or lives close to there, I would love to meet up with anybody. I'd love to, be able to put faces with names. So, if you are, let me know. I would love to meet up. Anyway, how's my day going? Not too bad. I've just been at work all day, but it's not been a bad day. I could not ask for better patients. I kid you not. They are the sweetest people, and they're so fun. One of them, I was standing in the kitchen getting some medications put together. One of them came into the kitchen behind me, and I didn't see him, I didn't hear him, anything. And I had a package of eggs in this hand, and I was walking back to the fridge, and he was right behind me, and boom, scared the crap out of me. I screamed. I think he felt bad. He didn't mean to scare me, but he got me good. Anyway, uh, I was, let's see who else. Oh, hey, Charlie. Charlie Mullins is here. And Just Ruth, hello. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you for showing up and putting up with me. I'm a poor substitute, but I just thought, if there's anyone that needs to talk, or if they just need the support of people in chat, or and whatever, I've got half an hour I can do so. And I hope Tommy starts to feel better. Um, when I finish here, and as soon as I finish with my patients, I'm gonna check in on him and see what's going on, because I don't think he's ever had a history of migraines, and it sure sounds like what he's got is migraines, but I don't know. Um, increasing liquid. Hang on. Oh, excuse me for a second, guys. Something's not right. Oh, hang on here. Hang on. Let's see. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know if that fixed the problem, but if I go dead, then we know I ran out of juice. I got a new computer and I'm still not sure about much with this. Anyway, figure I owe you guys a bit of an explanation. I was trying to do, 1 or 2 videos a week, and I think I have 11 out or something. But boy, I got hit hard right before Christmas. In fact, it was December 19th. It was the day that we had, I guess, I don't know if it was a coronal mass ejection or what. It was something from the sun, though, came out and it hit us so hard and so fast that it cracked the magnetosphere. And that day was the day that I just felt like I was losing my mind. I was just falling apart, and it was strange. It was rather just out of the blue. I wasn't ready for it. Usually, I've lived with depression my whole life. I kid you not, even when I was a little girl. And I figured, usually because I've lived with this for so long, I know the signs and I know what to watch for in myself, to know when it's time to see my doctor again and change my medications around and, do a few things. For some reason, I'm just one of those people with depression that is extremely difficult to treat. And because of that, because of that, I have to be really careful and pay close attention, because things used to get out of hand very quickly and very badly. Like, I've spent a lot of time in psych hospitals, and, but I've, for a long time now, I'd have to really think, it's been a long time since I had to be admitted to a psych ward. But whatever it was that hit me in December, the 19th, it hit me so hard. And it was just out of the blue. And I just felt like I was losing my mind, like I was going crazy. And for all of the ladies in chat that have been through menopause, you feel when you're going through that, you feel like honestly you're going to lose your mind. It is just the most unstable. It's terrifying, and that's what I was feeling, and it was just, it was awful. And I'm not even going to go into all of it, but there were one night that I just, I had cried for probably 3 days straight. I'm not kidding. I couldn't work. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't quit crying. And it was, oh man, it was bad. And, honestly, it was about 3 days straight. And it was late at night, like about 11 at night. And I just could not take it anymore. My husband was working the graveyard, and so I was home alone, and I was very scared. And the people that I have had on my list, the night that I needed them, nothing worked out. And so, by the way, if there are anybody there in chat that would be willing to be on allow yourselves to be on my list. I need a whole new list. But my very best friend, the one that I can always count on, and wasn't there that night. I was really angry, and then I found out later what happened, and she had good reason to not be there for me now that I know. But anyway, I felt so horrible that I drove myself to the ER, and I just sat out in the parking lot in my car, and just tried to decide in my head, should I go in? Should I not? Should I try and stick it out a few more days? But I felt so horrible, and I was just so scared that I almost went in. But then I started thinking about all of the things that I do that really help me every day. And, I wouldn't be able to do those things if I went into the hospital. And, there's a couple of things, working with my chickens is huge. I mean, some of my chickens are honestly registered as, what's the word? Emotional support animals. But if I can't have my animals to work with every day, and if I can't run about every other day, the pain from my fibromyalgia gets so bad, and and just having my animals with me is, oh, it's just wonderful. They're, and thinking about not being able to do those things and not have those things, I ended up going home, and trying to work with a new doctor, and just tried to work things out over the next few days, and I wasn't getting anywhere. And I finally decided, I can't do this on my own anymore. I've got to find some help. And I got online, and I found like 4 different facilities in Utah that are supposed to be strictly for anxiety and depression, for treatment like that. And one of them even specialized in childhood trauma, which is, would have been really helpful too. And I tried to get in there, and then I tried 3 other places. And what it came down to, honestly, was I would have to lie to get in to to get some help, because they won't take anybody unless you are suicidal, you have a plan, and you put that plan all together, and you're ready to go. If there's that, or if you have already hurt yourself, then of course I'll take you in right away. But yeah, I was so disgusted after that. I was so angry after that that actually started to get better. But yeah, it was, honestly, what it came down to was, I realized that, after all of these days that I had tried to get help, and I had, I just kept going from 1 hour to the next, just, okay, if I can just get, through this next hour. And it was, but I feel a lot better now. But I think one of the biggest things now is that it's taken a lot of experience. Like I said, I've lived with depression for so long. And sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. Good grief. I didn't sleep last night, so I am tired. Oh, good grief. What was I just saying? I apologize, guys. Wow. Okay, okay, I remember what I was saying now. But what? Because I have lived with this for so long, and I've, tried so many different ways of coping with my depression, especially when it gets really bad. And, I've learned what works, and I've learned what doesn't work, and, self-medication, which I did for probably 2 decades. Definitely, yeah, it helps a little bit, but yeah, it just makes everything so much worse, you know. But I've learned, you know, I've learned what works and what doesn't work, and I've also learned that when you do everything you can and you're still not finding help or relief, that's when you just get on your knees and you pray. I mean, I pray all the time anyway, but you know, that's honestly, that's when you just pray for the strength to get through it until things get better, because they do get better. But I remember, you know, in my early 20s when I'd be hit with these panic attacks, and you know that my anxiety and depression would be so off the charts, and it was awful. And you know, it would just I would it would just feel so horrible that you panic, and you would think, I can't stand this another minute, and you know, not another single second. And I have learned since then that actually I can make it through. And you honestly have to look at, you know, things like depression and anxiety. um, I kind of look at them as I kind of anthropomorphize them a little bit, as if they have personalities, and that, you know, they're wanting to try to convince me that I can't handle my life, and um, things like that. You have to kind of think of them as people that are trying to take you down, and you have to, you know, change your thinking accordingly. And I don't know. I know that sounds kind of silly, but it works for me. But you know, I've been going, you know, I've been journaling the whole time, and I've been doing a lot of digging, and I think I figured out too, um, partly what is behind some of my depression as well, and I'm working on that. But oh boy, you know, having those journals to turn to help you figure out what you're really thinking and what's going on. And you know, it's such a good outlet to, you know, just spill all your feelings out onto paper. And I'm really grateful I've been able to. I went through a lot of my journals over the last couple of weeks from years and years ago, and got a lot of strength from reading through past experiences and things like that. So that was really helpful. But you know, I've been looking over everything, and you know, why did I get hit so hard? Because I haven't felt, you know, I hadn't been in that much emotional pain for a very long time. Um, I started looking at everything, and I honestly, because of my journals too, I can trace it back to where I started messing up, and it was when I decided to take this job again. And you know, the schedule that I had had before I started working again um, was just something that, you know, that I had done every day for so long. You know, the thought of having to sit down and schedule out my day and all the things, you know, it didn't even occur to me because I haven't had to do it for so long. And so I jump into this new job, and I didn't bother to schedule all of the things that are most important and that I have to do every single day. Um, Scheduling for me is so important, and so I think right there was um, where I really messed up. and and then I started doing these videos, and I didn't plan, didn't schedule things. And yeah, I can't let that slip again. There's just so many little things that I do that keep me sober. And you know, I made it through this, you know, this horrible, it's been over a month now. I made it through, and I made it through. I'm still sober, I'm still clean. And um, it hasn't been easy, but you can do it. Um, there were a couple of other things I wanted to share with you guys. Um, Things that I turn to when situations are really difficult. Um, and I'm, please don't misunderstand. I'm not trying to brag about my ancestry or anything like that at all. I'm just trying to give you some ideas of places you can look to find strength. especially, when you need that inner strength to keep going. And, for me, I look at a lot of my ancestors. Um, my mother is Australian, and she has lived here. Since she's been here since 1969, but she's still a citizen. But she's lived and worked here for all that time. Um, but her mother and father, their lines that ended up in Australia, were from England and from Scotland, and my mother's mother was a Stuart, from Clan Stuart, the Royal Scottish clans, and so it's something we've always taken a lot of pride in, um, with our family. Um, but the thing that I think of more than that is the story of how, our Scottish family ended up in Australia, and it's a really cool story. Um, I had I can't remember how far back, how many generations back, but it would have been a cousin. Her name was Charlotta Hewlett, and she had an uncle. He was very wealthy, and I think he was a knight, something like that. But he also, was one of those rich old families, and um, I don't know what the situation was in the family, but this guy that he was. Let's see, it was my ancestor Charlotta Hewlett was her name. Like I said, okay. Sorry, I'm tired. I gotta straighten my head up. Okay, she was supposed to receive this huge inheritance from her uncle, which is this knight. Um, and I don't know what the situation was, why she would end up with it. Um, but as soon as she came of age, she would receive this huge fortune, and she would have inherited the Woolworth Millions. Those stores, Woolworths, they call it Woolies. I think they used to be here in the States, but I only know of them in Australia now. But maybe I'm sure Fee would know. But anyway, um, she woke up. I think it was the night of her birthday party. That morning she woke up, on a ship, and she had been drugged, and she had been asleep in a trunk for days. Come to find out, um, there was some clause in the inheritance that, if she wasn't there, then her brothers or someone else in the family, I don't remember who, but they would inherit, what she would get if she wasn't there anymore. And so what they had done is drug her and put her on a ship to Australia and sent her off. And she wakes up on the ship, and she's just a young lady, and she went, straight and found the captain of this ship, and the captain, had his wife with him as well, and they took care of her the entire voyage to Australia. Took care of her, and when they got to Australia, they were in Adelaide. I think that's where first place they went, and they had a friend. His name was Alexander Stewart. He was from Scotland, and he was a bachelor. He was also very good friends with the captain of the ship and his wife. And of course, once they got into Adelaide, they wanted to meet up with their friend. And they told him what had happened with, this young lady that, here she is, she's been drugged and put on the ship and sent off on her own. And, they were just telling him, how terrifying it was for her, about how brave she was and how well she had handled it. And, he just listened to the story. And when they had told him everything about her and finished their story, he got quiet for a few minutes. And then he said, "I will marry her, um, take good care of her, give her everything I possibly can if, she'll marry me, and they went and told her, and she didn't even hesitate. And when they told her, like I said, didn't even hesitate. And they're like, well, wait, don't you think your parents want to know where you are? Surely they're looking for you. Your family, is going to want to know. And she said, look, if I went home now, they would kill me. Them sending me off sending her off that way off to Australia was, a mercy. And it was most likely, from what I understand, her brothers. But I really admire this young lady. What's really cool is, she married him right away. Had never known him, never met him before, and everything. But it turned out that they really loved each other once they got to know one another. And I think they had 13 children. Um, and this story had always been passed down, and retold and retold. And one of my mother's uncles in Australia um, asked her finally. He said, "Look, I want to know if this is true." And because we're here in Utah and we have the LDS Family History Library, she went up and started digging, and she found out the whole story was true. And they found the ship. They found the ship logs. They had everything. The list of all the passengers, and you can see her name right on there. Um, we found everything. It was really cool. But I think about, when I am afraid, or if there's something really difficult that I've got to go through, or I find myself stuck in the middle of. She's one of my ancestors that I think about, because I can't imagine, being just 18 years old and being sent off to a foreign country, on a ship. There was no guarantee at all that that ship would even make it. But she was very brave, and she didn't complain. She just got on with life, and they had a very good life. And they're stewards. My grandmother was a steward, and we all take a lot of pride in that. But I there's just a few other people I was thinking of. Um, I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They call us the Mormons. Um, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with our history, but right before the Civil War broke out, there were a lot of members of this newly formed church that were kicked out of their homes and chased across the country. And in the end, they had no choice but to give up everything and march across the country to Utah. And my father's family, it's both his mother's line and his dad's line. We are, I have all of my ancestors from them, were the pioneers that came across. And I can't think of any specific stories right now, because there are so many of them. But I think about the women. A lot of my great 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 grandmothers, and how brave they were. There were a few of them that had babies on the trek. There were a few that lost babies. Some lost husbands. Some husbands lost their wives. I mean, it was very difficult. Most people, that came across, had to put all of their belongings in handcarts and push them. And the more wealthy people would have wagons and horses. But a lot of my family, came across all the way from Ohio, to Missouri, and then across here to Utah. And most of my ancestors that came across that way walked. Um, they, I don't know if you've seen the hills, the mountains that they had to go through on foot, but, they had very, very little warm clothing. The boots and the shoes, things like that, just fell apart so quickly. No food. I mean, so little food to eat. It was just, they went, just everything that these women went through. Very strong women. I come from some very, very hardy stock. And again, when I am very discouraged, I think about the people that I come from. And maybe it's a little bit silly, but it helps me. I honestly think that they look down and they can see me. And, so much of my family sacrificed so much, generation after generation, so that I could have a decent life and be happy. The things that they sacrificed was absolutely incredible. And the things they faced, was not easy. All the disease, all the death, all the hard things that they had to put up with, coming across. These are very strong people. And so when I get very discouraged, I think of them, and I think of the incredible things that they did. And I remind myself that, they're watching me. I know what they've been able to accomplish, and I want to make them proud of me. And, my dad passed away a long time ago too, and especially him. I feel him around me at times, and I want very much to make him proud. So, those things, thinking about those things really does help me. And maybe they might sound silly, but they work for me. But the reason that I've been sharing these things with you is because, all of us have a heritage that we come from. All of our families, we each, most families have specific traditions, or they have things that are very important to them. What am I trying to say? There's everybody has things that they pass on, from generation to generation. And the really cool thing is that we can decide, if they are worthy of us, continuing these traditions on, or if we need to get rid of them. And that's a really cool thing. But, everybody comes from, from sources that have, some incredible goodness in one way or another. You just have to look at yourself and look at your situation. What are your talents, and what are your, what things make you proud, just things that give you a reason to stay strong and to keep fighting, especially when things get difficult. And like I said, please think about things like that. Just anything that you can think of that you can draw some strength from. It's a really good thing and writing them down. Writing it down in your journal and explaining why that's important to you, why it means so much to you. I mean, it's really, really helps you to understand yourself a lot better when you write about those things. And then you can always turn back to them, when you are struggling and discouraged. And anyway, I apologize for, not having any videos for probably over a month. When I go for days and days when I just can't quit crying, I really don't want to show my face. But, hey, I haven't given up, and I'm still still going, and all of you can too. Let's see. Let me look at the chat here. Let's see. Conky Dong, I am Mormon. But we actually like to be called, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because actually Mormon is kind of a slur. But yeah, I am. Let's see. Miss Dragon, oh, you don't know anything about your heritage. If you have any clues at all, I might be able to help you find a little bit. I have access to, the family libraries. Gosh, they have so many places to look, so many. Oh my goodness, so many different banks of information and census, and records of every kind you can think of. If you are interested, let me know. I could probably help you start somewhere. Well, let's see. Hey, Zenwen and Trish and Joanna. Hey, Brandon Taylor and Chuck Norris. Nice. Trish Killian. There's Zenwen. Who have I missed? I saw Baila was here earlier. Hey, Drew's here. Drew's Stank. Hey, Drew. Miss Dragon. Hope I haven't missed anybody. And Charlie. Let's see. How are you guys tonight? Does anybody need to talk or need anything I'm sure that we can find if there's any of you that are needing to talk, I'm sure we can arrange something. I hope Tommy's feeling better. I'm just a little worried with him. As far as I know, he has not had a history of having migraines. So if he's still in a lot of pain, I would like for him to get checked out just to make sure that it is a migraine and not, something like an aneurysm or a brain bleed or a clot or something going on in his head. Hopefully it is just a migraine and it's nothing serious, but still they hurt. I hope he's okay. I'm going to check on him here in just a minute. But, let's see if I missed anybody or anything. But you guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I've got quite a few things I am working on, and I'm so upset. I had a couple of videos that I had recorded that were some different things like neurogenic art. It's like therapeutic artwork, things like that you can use to kind of help process your feelings when you're struggling with anything that you're struggling with. I did one on that. Can't think what were the other two right now, but anyway, I had everything in my old laptop, and I tripped. I was carrying my laptop, and I was going from one room to the next, and I tripped and fell on it, and it's in pieces. So I had to get a new computer. So I gotta make those videos over again. Dang it, because I should have put them on a little SD card or something, but anyway, I need to get back to work. Let's see, Miss Dragon, I do my great from Oslo. Oh, cool! In 1909. Let's see. We can. Yeah, that's actually a lot to go on. So we need to talk. But I need to get going. I've got to get meds and night things taken care of with my patients. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good night, and thank you for stopping by. If you don't mind, please go hit that like button, and please consider subscribing if you haven't yet. I would like to be monetized someday if I get to that point, just so that I can help with the lifeboat fund. I would love to do that. And so, anyway, you guys have a good night, and I will talk to you again soon.